Before we discuss what's next for Dave Chaffee, let's hear what he had to say after his loss against Devon at King of the Table 7.
I agreed to a match in August. I think August 26th. That'll be my next
That's the match against Jordan Sonev that will be in USA. I've already made a video about that, so please check that out.
match. After that, it's going to be a while before I pull again, if ever. I'm not really sure. I'm going to take some time, think about it. I've been doing a lot of things, a lot of pulling lately, a lot of injuries, so it's been tough. But we'll see what the future has after that.
So he'll take a long break after that, and if he will decide when he will pull, if he is going to ever pull again. That's kind of a disheartening statement for the fans from one of the most loved and respected arm wrestlers out there. It's difficult to hear that. But what is next for Dave Chaffee? Usually we discuss what went wrong and what should be done in the future. Now let's discuss that in kind of a reverse order. What should be next for Dave? I think he mentioned about possibly dropping to 115 kilos. That's really difficult weight cut for him. He doesn't really enjoy the process, but I think that will be necessary, and we will discuss the reasons why. If Dave drops to 115 kilos, East versus West matches, let's discuss Evgeny Prudnik. Now that is a match that I would love to see. Dave Chaffee versus Evgeny Prudnik, amazing match. Will be really difficult to predict the winner of the match. Alexei Vovoda, that match can also happen. If Dave loses to Prudnik, I will say the next step down will be to pull John Brzezinski at 115 kilos. Now, I would assume that Dave should beat John, but if he loses badly to Prudnik, then that match can be really exciting. Or maybe even Ongarbayev if Dave is really declining fast because of his neck issues and some other injuries that he just discussed in this video. So there are many matches for Dave. Devon also talked about a possible match with Dave at 115 kilos. I don't think that match would make much sense. And why am I discussing this weight dropping solution for Dave Chaffee? Because there are many ways to go out of this sport. There are some legendary arm wrestlers. Either you go out at top or very near at top. These are the athletes that retire early before they start losing. I always give examples from athletics. Usain Bolt, I think he just retired at the very top, lost his final race though, but he still retired at top. But some arm wrestlers keep on competing. Sometimes if they are not in the top 1% of the top 1% of the elites who are really loved and respected, they can somehow tarnish their legacy if they keep on losing. For example, John Brzezinski is the best ever, the most respected arm wrestler. If he keeps on losing, his legacy is still intact. People would still call him the greatest arm wrestler that ever lived, but I wouldn't say the same for Dave Chaffee. If he keeps on losing, that is going to be difficult. More examples. Even John, when I mentioned that John has lost 3 out of 4 matches, now he needs to take some matches that he's going to win. I'm not sure if he's going to win the Alexei Voda match though. John is someone who doesn't know what it feels like to lose 4 out of 5 matches. He has never been in that situation. So it will be difficult for these athletes to deal with these kind of situations. More example, Dave Chaffee has lost 5 out of last 7 matches, and it's really difficult. Devon, let's say if Devon was talking about never losing 2 matches back to back before this Dave Chaffee match. So if Devon loses 3 out of 4 matches, it is going to be difficult for him as well. But I don't see that happening. Alexei Vovoda. People were assuming that Alexei was trolled a lot when he lost to Tim Bresnan. That's why he quit. And those assumptions were true. In a very recent interview, Alexei Vovoda did say that when he lost to Tim Bresnan, people were really harsh on him. They were really making fun of him. That's what I'm assuming. That's what he felt bad about. And he himself acknowledged that. That's the reason why he quit arm wrestling. So when these legends who are not used to losing matches back to back, when they lose, it is really difficult for them. So now it becomes a matter of decision. How do you want to go out? Do you want to retire at top or very near at the top? Or do you want to drop weight and still be at the top in that weight category, which is possible? I will not say Dave can be number 1 in 115 because Devon is still there, but maybe he can be top 3 in the world. Just imagine. Now I think I genuinely believe Dave is top 10 Dave is out of top 10 in the world, maybe 11. If you ask me to name 10 guys who can beat Dave, I can easily do that without even taking more than 30 seconds maybe. So these are the things that need to be considered. And when I talked about this in the previous video, it was just 1 month ago, the harsh truth about Dave Chaffee. And people kind of trolled me in the comments saying that Pradeep doesn't know anything. I mentioned one thing: when an athlete keeps on losing again and again, the level of respect kind of starts to go down. And another thing that I discussed there is, Dave Chaffee overrated? And I asked one simple question. Dave was always considered within top 5 of the world, always. And I asked one question: name one guy who Dave ever beat who was in top 5. And I got no answers, but still people are saying that Pradeep doesn't know about this topic without even answering the question. Okay, so I'll read some of the comments that I don't agree with at all. Dave easy lost Chaffee. And somebody replied, Dave no money Chaffee. Chaffee is a total embarrassment for arm wrestling sport, not Devon. Do you feel me, Chaffee? I said in that video that the respect will go down, and people said Pradeep is delusional. He doesn't know that the level of athlete or his performance on the table and the respect that he has are not correlated. And I said, yes, they are. Yes, they are. If Dave Chaffee had these neck issues, neck injuries, and he was winning, he wouldn't talk about not possibly having another super match after the August Jordan Sorum match. Winning while having injuries is completely different than losing while having injuries. I hope I'm able to make my point clear here. So these athletes need to win. Either quit, or because it will be, I'm not saying Dave should quit, but in my opinion, the best decision based on Dave's mentality will be to drop to 115 kilos if he cares about winning or losing. Now many people, go to Reddit, go to Facebook, people are saying that Dave doesn't care about winning or losing, Dave only cares about a paycheck. And I'm someone who is probably the third most happiest person whenever any arm wrestler makes money. After himself and his family, the third one is me. I always talk about these things. But when people were saying that respect and winning losing record are not correlated, tell me, where were these comments, the comments that I just read, where were these comments 2 months ago? Where were these comments one year ago when Dave was not losing that much? So I believe they are definitely related, and Dave needs to start winning. That's the thing that he needs to do. What is next? As we already discussed, some super matches, because Dave has the aura of a legendary arm wrestler. He almost pinned Siplenkov. He got one win over Prime Siplenkov based on fouls. And he has always been great. But now, you cannot really match him against nobodies, people that do not have a big social media following. Any example right now? I cannot think of one, because Georgi Zaranov, let's say he's really famous right now. He has performed really well. But let's say someone at Georgi Zaranov's level who is not really famous. You cannot match Dave against those guys, because he needs to draw some pay-per-view sales as well. The best decision for him, in my opinion, will be to drop to 115 kilos and start dominating again. And the pain will not go away, but the effect of the pain, the mental pressure after losses that he's having right now, that will probably go away, and we will see Dave compete for next, hopefully 4 or 5 years. And stem cells, I'm not a big believer in these stem cells, but maybe Devon, call Dave, get him. He's not really believing in the possibilities of a correct, what should I say, a successful treatment with this stem cell therapy. But I hope Dave gets well. I hope this time I was able to make my point clear. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe.